we hope you all stay. And for maybe some people want to share what were the key points they may just want to like a big takeaway for them. I mean, just start wherever you feel comfortable, and anyone who is willing to jump in and talk. While we are reflecting on that, let me welcome Shu. I noticed you jumped in a little bit late today. Florida was definitely good for you, and now you all are both welcome. Then I noticed there's Antoine Kevin. Oh, that's a new face. We're happy to have you in. So please feel free if there's anyone who wants to come in, please go ahead. And Ballon, there's a certain Ballon. Yeah. Or make a general comment at least. And bring up your camera so we can see everybody. Theophile,
Um,
you did join. You're always in charge of
um,
this. Yeah.
but
Bring up your cameras. Yeah.
I would like to say something, but I can't bring up my camera because I've been
Okay.
working the whole day and I'm so tired.
Ah.
You won't want to see me.
Okay. No worries. Okay. The others.
Really, it's been a long day for me, but I
Uh-huh.
had to be here today.
Great.
For me, I think the take home from Tabby's presentation is really the mentorship. And we've been having from you in one way or the other, Ban. But again, that doesn't stop anyone from within the community to really reach out, use linking, you know, reach out to people. People are always, like someone will really admire that, someone is admiring me. So when you reach out to the person based on what you see on their LinkedIn, and if it's something of interest to you, people are happy nowadays to really, connect, because there is the need for someone to hold your hand. Huh? There is a need for someone to hold your hand, but if you don't reach out for that somebody to know that I need to hold this person's hand, um, they won't know. And also when you read there are so many blogs that we read about, and it's because someone became a mentor, or you found somebody who helped push you into something. Okay, it might not necessarily be that you stay in cloud and become the technique one, but even in the non-tech areas of technology, if you see someone who has moved to that, reach out to the person and ask, how did you go about this? LinkedIn has a lot to offer nowadays, so really use LinkedIn. And I can understand sometimes it's because, okay, you are feeling like, I'm not confident enough. What kind of question can I ask? And things like that. Let me just give an example of myself. When I was leaving the university and transitioning into how do you call it, into the pharmaceutical world, I don't know if I've said this before. I reached out to everybody within my network. Of course, I had identified what I wanted to do. I reached out to everybody whom I knew, not necessarily in the area where I was going, but I kind of said, do you know someone who knows this, who knows that, who knows that? And to be candid with you, someone I was working with in the lab, she knew somebody who was in a company where people were doing writing and da 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 da. And so she kind of linked me. She said, okay, I will link you to this person. And that's how she linked me up to somebody. The person was not even in the field in which I was going to get into. And that person simply, she said, okay, I'm not in the field, but I will pass on your CV to a recruiting person at my company, and that is how I transitioned through my
Great.
network,
Mhm.
through my network, and completely someone I'd never even known. And that's why I said, through, if you have a mentor, that mentor might link you to somebody in the area where you are interested in. So it now even we can hide behind our computers and write somebody a message. And I remember even going on LinkedIn, seeing people who were in writing, and I didn't even know this guy. I only saw him on LinkedIn. I sent a message to him and I said, can we meet? I mean, me of all, I must tell you all, I'm a total introvert when it comes to that. And because there was fire under my buttocks, I had to do something. So I wrote to this guy. I think his name is Sven. I even did not know the kind of questions I was going to ask him. But I had read a lot about transitioning from the academia to pharmaceutical to the writing that I was going to do. But again, I kind of didn't even know what I was going to tell this guy. But I made that that leap, So you sometimes have to leave your comfort zone. But at the end of the day, I was happy talking to him. In short, I didn't even know what I was telling him, but I made that step to reach out to somebody that I had never known, only from LinkedIn, and he was willing to talk to me. I remember I had to take the train and go to Leuven to talk to this guy, So again, don't underestimate your network. Even, let me not to be derogatory here, even the low, can I say lowest? Let me not say lowest, because every job is really important. Even the whoever at your work that you think might not even help you, talk to the person, because they might know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And that's how you will be linked up. And that is how I moved from the university to the pharmaceutical world. I was linked up by someone who knew someone who knew someone. I just really reached out to my network. So depending on what you want to do, you can always reach out to people within your network and say, this is what I'm interested in. Does someone know somebody that I can talk to, that I can reach out to? And if someone knows, they will link you up to somebody. And that's how I made that transition. So again, use your network. Your network is your net worth. It's not an adage, but it really helps. I could see how it helped me. And I remember, of course, we all know how here you have to have a work permit. You have to have that. You have to have that for those who are still looking for work permit. For those who already have their stays, it's different. Or whether you're even in Cameroon or anywhere, use your network and don't underestimate who can know who. So again, the mentorship, the coaching, and all of that. If you need someone to be your champion, reach out to somebody and say what you want, and you people can have how do you call it, a plan of what are the next steps. It's not a big leap that you have to take, but baby steps, baby steps, really. So that's what I wanted to share. And again, using your network, and also hammering on the mentoring, reach out to somebody who can be your champion. The person must not necessarily be in the field that you are moving to. If it's within that field, it's good. But someone who can still guide you, and within their network, they can know someone to talk to place you here and there. I have someone also, not that I'm talking, let me not be talking a lot, but I have a friend whom he usually will even sometimes at work there are like instant messengers that you can use. He will send to a VP, the vice president of the company. The only thing he can say is, I don't have time to talk to you. But that's how he has been going strategically. He always says, when I'm going to talk to somebody, the person, what I need from the person. If the person cannot do it, they will link me to the person who will help me, you know. So again, talk to people. I know sometimes it's difficult, but talk to people. Even within us, talk to people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your story and experience, Vero. That's very, very, yeah, I'm sure it's helpful for others. And any other person who want to come in, a takeaway or something they find useful today. And who is that? I see Chiche, you coming in, or who is coming in?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, Chi, good evening.
Okay. Um, I'm really grateful for the session today. Sorry, I can't stand on my camera right now, but
You go pay fine, yeah.
the thing is, I'm using my phone and it's as if I have blocked access to everything, so it's only my mic that is coming on.
Okay,
So I'll need to check that later.
that's fine. Okay.
But what I just want to say is, wow, the session today has been really, really good. And one of the things I got from the session, the first most important thing was that tool, which I just have a quick read about. And I think it's a very impressive tool for us all to try it out. Then another remarkable point she said was about when they asked the question about women and workspace, whatever.
Yeah.
I really appreciate her answer, because at a certain point, I kind of think that, well, some of our young girls here, they usually be carried away by all these international organizations saying a lot of things about women and work, and not all these funny news, all these funny things are going around, but they forget about the most important point, which is competence. And that is what she really stressed about. So as much as I encourage the fact that they should promote women in everything, but I also encourage the fact that she was given that you need to be competent. Don't just go and be there like carry the load on your head. I'm a woman and I'm supposed to be treated somehow differently, or supposed to just do, I don't know. But just the fact that you need to be competent, it's very, very important. So I encourage everyone, whether you're a woman or a man in this forum, you should strive for that. Be very competent and be very competitive. When you get somewhere, let them notice you. Let them notice how good your skills are. No matter whether you're a woman or you're a man, let them notice how good your skills are. That is what we should be striving for, and pay a little, not much concern about all this UN, and there are things that they throw around to people a lot. Just be good in what you're doing. And that's one thing I really appreciate about her response today. And I was so happy. I wish all the girls I've been talking to can hear that. So
Yeah.
I really wish all of them could hear that. That's just what I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chiche. Thank you for that. I don't know who is coming in, but she did mention different words. And when we have a conversation like this, I'll always want to encourage everyone to go back and look into those things if you don't not yet had an idea. And I know she did say that um, that was her case. Like if she's studying something, she's studying when she will use it, right? But at times, if you're in a situation like some people find themselves, you want to have an idea. Maybe you may want to, like, okay, you don't know something, you may then but then you have the passion. Like I think Therese, you've not yet figured out, like you were explaining. So the only thing to do is gain the knowledge. And of course, she also you go to the university at time to get the bachelor's degree, then you figure out what to do. So the essential to study becomes important. And where I'm driving to is she did mention about agility. You see, these words come up a lot. Agility, design thinking is a very new concept that is being used quite often. You can just go and just take 101 courses on this. If you are a people's person and you are thinking of, you want to be reaching out and you want to be having a conversation, even if you already have the skills in cloud, and if you're a people's person and you want to understand customers' pain points more, and then maybe try to bring in solutions that will help solve those pain points, then that knowledge is essential. And if you don't have that knowledge, I'll say take note of the things you mentioned, like design thinking. Go and check 101. What is design thinking on? You always see maybe a free course on that, or I think we'll look at one and share it. It's a very interesting concept. You look at what's agility, try to understand what that is. There are a few people, or if you don't know, ask in the forum. The other thing is, uh, there is not really so much conversation at times in the forum, like I would say we expect, be it on the Slack channel, on WhatsApp. People, if people are asking questions, especially on things that we don't know. I think Dr. Shiana has also pointed this out. I mean, I'm a technical guy. He's a technical person. Some of those people's questions we may not have exact answers, but some we will know, maybe, okay, yeah, you can look up, you can actually take a look at this, you will have an answer. So I want us to everyone to pick up the concept of design thinking. Go and look up what that is. If you don't know about it, look at agility. Try to know what that is. It if you don't know, ask around and try to like figure out what is that all about. And yeah, the I think the other one that I see that keeps coming up, and I think Shu is here, and she's in that area, Scrum. Look into all those concepts, and because when you look at jobs, you don't just see someone with a technical background, or you don't see one certification. It's always a combination of skills. And the other important thing that has been emphasized again today is taking your skills where you are, take them along. Don't feel like if you try to make a big leap, it may be very demanding. It's not that it's impossible, right? She did give a case study of a lady who was a teacher, but today is working in business intelligence and in the cloud. But she tries, but the more role is helping, maybe hiring architects that can handle that. So there is a lot of belief that I see everyone should have in themselves, but then be also honest, right? Do a study of yourself, and when people tell you, because at times people always say, be honest to me, but when you're honest to them, it's painful. So be able to accept constructive criticisms about things that maybe you may need to improve to be able to move where you want to go. And you can only do that by doing you know, asking. Don't ask people who will tell you what you want to hear, because then you only hear the sweet things about who you are. But if you have a conversation with people who can be willing to tell you that really you are, yeah, you need to improve on this, or you are really really poor on this, to be very honest, it will be good for you. And I think that's something that I equally take home pretty very much. And regarding coaching, don't be surprised. You may think that it's only you that needs a job that need mentoring and coaching. Even the people at the top, so you can see the president of a company still need mentoring, because mentoring, as you said, is a two-way. No one is a superhuman being. You don't Once you reach the top there, it doesn't mean that you know everything. Everyone still require mentoring. You'll be surprised. And I think someone was explaining that, like, you see some doctors that are really top, I mean, in the medical field, which when someone was given the experience where a top doctor, well, once he started working with a mentor, he realized that he was performing much more better compared to when he didn't. So the concept of having a mentor, yeah, it's very important. And don't think that it's only you at the lower level that needs a mentor. Almost across the ladder to the top, um, people need mentors. So I
Hello,
don't know who wanted to come in next. Yeah, that's you,
hello.
Theo. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
Uh,
Theo.
I am sorry, I cannot put on my video because I don't know where the video button is. Sorry, and
What happened? You are not serious. That's a joke. Okay.
I mean, I'm just thinking if everybody can give an excuse for not putting on their video, why can I not? And I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, I'm not forcing. This is just to encourage us to know one another. So I would have really liked to see Chiche's face because I don't know who Chiche is, but I mean, physically, maybe I can put a name to the a face to the name one day. But yeah, it's good. And I came late into the meeting also, and I'm really glad that you people are sharing your takeaway points because that's uh, where I am getting most of the things that were said when I was not there. And hopefully after this, when the recording is shared, I might learn something by listening to it. But one thing that I picked up while I was here from Tabi was do not forget your identity, your who you are already before this cloud was before the idea of cloud computing became uh, the 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 yardstick of profession. So what do you call it today? I mean, like everything is going cloud. So for example, those who studied economics or geography or something as accounting or were already working in other fields that are not so much the new job description or the new well, shouldn't forget that these fields will still be needed. It's just you'll be required to perform them in a different way. And even if you become a cloud architect, it would also help us help you in performing that job better because you might for example those working in the medical field, if you happen to be doing a migration of medical data to the cloud, you know more about the kind of things that could be sensitive in that area than somebody coming from a technical field or a former mechanic. You would know more about that person. So I believe that when Tabi says, do not leave what you already know behind, take it with you and bring it, it would be useful at some point. And that's what I got from there. And like Van was, you just added a few more points, and I would really be glad to hear other people's takeaway points, like uh, connections. So someone already mentioned about LinkedIn connections. They would help in different ways, in ways we didn't even expect. You could just make a connection with somebody and they find out, oh, this is somebody that is interested in what I'm doing and they have some skills that we could connect or we could bring them into our company. You never know when it happens. So I would like to hear what other people got, and uh, a summary is usually better than listening to the whole video after this.
That's
Thank you
that's
very
not an
much.
that's not an excuse. You missed the real phone.
So
Anyway,
this
what
Oh,
that's
okay. Now I
Chiche.
see
That's
Chiche's face.
Chiche.
Thank you
Good.
very much. Thank you.
uh,
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, Vera is coming
That's
on, I think. Yeah.
that's really true because people should put on their camera so we talk. I was
Absolutely.
talking to
We're
somebody
family.
today, and it ended up that it was he said he's in class with me, and I was like, who are you? And he said he's the one they call Shay Struggle. I was like, what?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But
And
I'm
I'd
not
never
seeing
seen
Vera's
him.
face. Are you seeing Vera's face on Koban?
Yes, I can see. Yeah.
You can see Vera's
Deborah.
face.
Vera. Yes, that's Vera.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Right.
Leila's hand is still up.
No, no, that's okay. From last time. Yeah, so okay, good. And Deborah joined. Yeah, Deborah, hi is Nigeria. Ah, hey, sorry, Vera, Vera,
I've been here all the while, just been just been
yeah,
turn on my video.
yeah,
Oh, hi.
How is
Hello.
everyone?
Fine.
Hello.
good.
Nice to
Yeah,
see
I
you.
can see you all have a nice time today. Thanks to our tutor for today. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vera, it's like you went on mute, so we missed what you were saying. Continue. You went on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that one of the things also that she did not make mention that I have picked up in my professional life here is the fact that I don't know if it's our background or our culture. We tend to not know how to sell ourselves well when it comes to professional selling, because like I've been in a panel where we are carrying out an interview, and especially Blacks, when they come in, they have these very powerful CVs that is been shortlisted. But then in front of the panel or to sell yourself, it becomes, it's like you want to pull out what is in the person in the CV, to talk. We don't know. I think it's something we need to practice to
That's
sell
very correct.
ourselves, because
That's very
at the
correct.
end of the day, I am seeing potentials in this person, but they're not really selling it. And you see somebody comes in with a CV that does not even match what it's needed, the qualifications or what, but they can talk and sell themselves so well. So when we go behind to shortlist people, and they were like, the panel, I'm like, this guy has this qualification, they said, but that did not come across well. She is selling us well. I cannot only be the only one. It will be like, the diversity. And I don't really know how to back this up, but I just noticed that we don't know how to sell ourselves well. It is something we need to take on board also.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very good point, a very critical point that a lot of applicants need to look into. I think I can say I'm also a victim of that. Maybe we don't have the best words to explain ourselves. And I think one thing about we Africans is we are too technical. We are too serious that we don't take time to build our communication skills. You know, the technical guys, they don't understand English. I can't remember the last time I used a pen, but when I get on my computer, trust me, I can type everything. So we are too serious technically. We want to break and fix. We want to resolve technical issues. We want to do the technical things. But when it comes to communication, the communication skills, how to communicate perfectly, we don't have that. We don't have the time to build it. We are always seeking for solutions to problems, solutions to technical problems. Get on call with the customer, troubleshoot the issue, resolve it, and then you are gone to another customer. So that communication aspect is a very vital role, because it's just like a marketing skills. If you don't attract your clients, you won't have the opportunity to give the solution. You have to attract the clients. You have to get the clients to yourself before you profile a solution, before you even go to the real business. So I think we really lack that, because most times I've always find myself being anxious, being I don't want to use the word being scared. Like I get so destabilized during interviews that I lost words. But that doesn't mean I'm not fit. That doesn't mean technically I can't do the job. But asking the questions, like me answering, telling you I'm this, I'm that, I'm like, you have my CV. You should,
Yeah.
That is a
And
big
so
mistake that we do,
yeah,
because
it's
they
really,
cannot, if
it's
you
really,
don't say it, you cannot. What another way is, before you go for an interview, take an interview at home, speak in front of the mirror or so.
hmm,
Try to build your confidence, because when you practice how to talk and sell yourself before you ever enter an interview, be able, because when they open the question, tell me about yourself, be able to sell yourself, because you develop a connection in that first 1 second of talking.
that's very
That
true.
question,
You're very correct.
I think one other thing with us Africans also is the fact that I don't know, maybe I'm just talking that thinking. We have a lot of humility, and You know, growing up, most of us know that when you do things, you don't boast about them. You kind of let others, do the boasting for you, and that actually affected us a lot. I remember my very first interview when I came to the US. My very first interview. Huh. I mean, like I went in and the guys were talking to me, and I was giving them the most respect that you would ever get, right? As in, like, don't look at them in the eyes, when you're talking, keep your head down, typical, good boy, good girl back home in the villages. And words could barely come out of my mouth, you know. And back then I had a bachelor's degree, and I was just trying now to latch onto anything. And this was a program they were doing saying that this even for people with high school, and right. And when I was done, the guys were like, well, we could barely even hear what you were saying, or we could, and for that, we're sorry, we can't. And I stood there, my head went tingling, and I was like, this is not happening.
You start
And
thinking of
I gathered all my courage, and I was like, guys, give me a second chance. Luckily they did. And from there, during interviews, I am completely a different person. And so there is something with how we grew up that doesn't really help us when it comes to selling ourselves. Yeah,
That's
it
correct.
sort of makes
That's
us hold
correct.
back. Yeah, we need to learn how to boast. How to boost. you know
One
Fa-
of the above.
Fayun. Yeah, I don't know what that translates to in.
what about delayed gratification?
For
What's that?
according.
What about delayed gratification?
Okay,
Delayed
that's a big
gratification.
Mhm.
Explain it,
delay.
teacher.
Well, I kind of read a lot. So I once read in a book, I think it's How to Make Friends and Influence People, something like that. And they talked about, not celebrating like the word boast, how the word boast sound, like, not being too egoistic about some certain things. Until you achieve what you really want to achieve, then you can
And
be
boast
happy
about
about it.
it. Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. I'm just asking because
yeah. So,
I personally, I tend to only tell people the things I'm so happy about, but the little things I don't tell you about. So that's kind of it. So
Chiche, remember that when you're going to an interview and they're looking at your resume, those are already your achievements, right? And this hit me someday in our team when we're doing our daily stand-ups, like where everybody in the morning they're saying that, okay, this was what I did, this was what I did. And I happened to be working closely with one guy. And in the morning, if they ask the status and it's me, I would just say that, oh, because I would just say that, oh, we worked on fixing this issue. But let this guy report the same thing. Like your jaw will drop. You would be like, wow, you guys did that much
Exactly.
work yesterday. You know?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
there are so many things that when we do, we would be like, ah, no, that was easy. It's not even, no, but these guys, they hold on to it and they talk about it. And, you feel like it was this crazy big thing that they were doing. But for us, we're just going to be like, oh, I was
Yeah,
working on this feature
yeah,
yesterday. But they will
yeah,
be like,
yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah. I absolutely agree with. I'm just agreeing with what you are saying because I equally noticed that at work where everything. Personally, I've experienced it where I do something and to me it's just like obvious,
mhm.
but then I'm not able to give that same report like you are saying. But then some people will make it and I will listen to it and I'm like, is it really? Why do they have to make a big fuse out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something we don't. Yeah, we don't really know how to market the things that we've done, which are really big achievements because
Hmm.
when others do and don't do it, yeah. So I think that's very important. But I wanted to go back on the issue of some 2 points that one point that Tabi shared, and then try to bring it around for many people who are trying to take this leap and maybe wondering. The point is on don't be afraid to fail, because there are some people here. I think if I was afraid to fail, I had a bitter experience in 2008. I had just finished university, and then there was the crisis, and the companies were not hiring, and of course you had to work, you had to go and look for jobs. So it was the bad time to look for a job, and that means a lot of turn downs, a lot of rejections. And but one thing I learned along the road was, apart from the many applications I sent out and so the many that were rejected, the interviews I went through and then didn't make through, but after each interview I learned something. So I never went to an interview and came back without learning something, and that was helping me every step of the way. So actually being rejected was not a failure, and it was not a complete failure, because I did learn something. And then so moving so I was, every interview I went to, whether I was accepted, most of them I was rejected anyway, I picked a lesson and improved on how to be better in the next interview. And so I built on everyone like that. And what I'm putting here is, for many people who are coming and maybe will be applying or trying to look for alternative jobs, you need to make that step, right? And the good thing about it now is you have LinkedIn. In the days you write an email, they send you a move. LinkedIn was not yet so popular, or was not well used.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, but now you can use a lot of connections. Sorry, let me mute someone. I think there is someone speaking. I can't figure out where it's coming from. But what I'm leading to is, for everyone that is here, a lot of emphasis have been put on LinkedIn, and I still don't. I think if anyone is here, I really want to like connect on you on LinkedIn, just encouragement. Take it as an assignment. Have your LinkedIn well spelled out, and then the other point is, start applying for jobs. Be having that, be getting that, whether you are being rejected, go to interviews, even if you don't know whether you will make it, get the rejection, learn something from it, so that when you finally find that job that is going to be the job that you really want, you could have learned so many lessons, and you should have it right then. It may happen that the first one you apply for, they take you. Okay, that's good, right? But don't be afraid to fail, because failure in itself just depends on how you interpret it. Is it complete failure? If you look at it like, oh yeah, I learned something, then it's not really failure, because it was then a learning process. So people shouldn't be afraid to apply for jobs. People shouldn't be afraid to get rejected. I still get rejected I still apply, and I don't get a response. I've been to interviews, go to 2 steps, I don't get the third one. It's part of the process. But then, yeah, you have to then always figure out, what is it that went wrong? How can I improve on it? So that's something I just thought everyone should take on that, and really make that effort. Vera has talked about the fact that we don't really know how to sell ourselves, and I think for us, is yeah, maybe we need yeah, we just need to, I think what Mike did here, talking about how to, he sent an inter how to make a wow. I learned a lot from that. You asked about what is S3, don't just go like it's object storage. Make a wow out of it. Talk about its object storage, talk about the storage classes, go and talk about life cycles, so that they can really see that you have so much depth in S3 that they don't even bother asking you about what is VPC. So we need to know how to learn these techniques, make use of these resources, and then I think in doing that, collectively, yeah, we'll be making steps. Those are the things I wanted to highlight again based on what we had today. Yeah.
Uncle, but I would just like to add on what you're saying. Like, I've had some very kind of difficult situations here in Cameroon. And I remember when I did my CCNA back, I think it was 2014. Before going to doing that certification, there was a lot of boosts around, like, once you have a Cisco certification, companies will be hunting you like. So I decided to take that certification. 3 months later, I nailed it with 998 out of 1,000. I was like, ow. So I knew when I go for any job, they'll take me. I was like so optimistic, and well, I started applying. I got some calls. When I got there, the first job at Orange, even though they gave me, I worked there for a while. But during the interview, they asked me a question. When I was talking, nobody's hearing it. So they were like, young man, hold on, go and get a glass of water. So they gave me a glass of water and they said, start talking. I was like, okay. So that was one of my first experiences. Then later on, after 6 months, I wasn't like satisfied with the job. It was a lot about sales out, and I'm not good at sales. So I told the manager back then, Bamenda, that I cannot cope with this job. Like I need to go to where I'm really good at. So I decided now to leave and go study CCNP. So after my CCNP now, I was like, if I had CCNP and had that opportunity, then CCNP now would be crazy. So, but I applied, I go for interviews, nothing. I applied, there's nothing. So, but each time I go for an interview and come back, I was like, I need to work more. So I continue studying. Then something has been happening. Last year, I think it happened twice. I went for 2 interviews last year and they didn't accept me. But like 3 months later, one of the IT managers, they called me up and said, we have a problem and we need your help. I was like, I came for an interview and you guys rejected me, but you guys need my help. So I went there. They had the problems configuring some Cisco equipment. So I did the configurations, and that was my first day that I earned 150,000 a day. So I did that configuration for them. Then the guy told me that they're sorry they couldn't employ me because they think I knew a lot more than them. So they could not permit their boss to employ me. So I was like, okay. But when they have difficulties, they can call me. That is when I finally decided that most of the jobs I do here now is mostly on call basis. If they just know me out there and I receive calls that come and help me out with this, come and help me out with this. And that was the first one. Later on, I went for another job. The guys really just asked me during the interview, how can I set up a network of 30 computers and let all of them have internet access? I was like, what? Is this an interview? So I explained everything to them. I came back home. I knew that that one was, I think, World Wildlife Foundation. So I was happy that I could work for an international NGO. I was like, I really want that kind of experience. But those guys didn't employ me. And later on, I got a call too from the guy there that he needs help and he wants to set up some things. He doesn't really know how to go about it. And they have given me, somebody gave my number to him. So I was like, okay. I discussed with him. I showed him what to do. And later on, he sent my door. So I guess with all the disappointments we get from interviews, we just have to be focused and work more on ourselves, and definitely the right opportunity will show up someday.
Chiche, just to chime on, from these experiences, don't you see that it's even your consultancy that is the best thing for you to do rather than
that's what I was just about to say. Why are you looking for a job? Just create a consultancy. Seriously.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, just create a consultancy and you don't need to be looking for jobs.
Yes. Already you are known out there. Like, like when they call you, you are the one who is pulling the shots here. Oh my God, you give your price, they will pay. Really. Yep. So, I will not even bother. If you have the clientele already, people know you, that is what you want to get out there, really. Yep. So, and there's one thing, I know not everyone can be independent, like they call here, self-employed and all of that. I think also the way we were trained, or the way our education is, we are wired to go look for a job. Really, like you want to find that job, that dream job, where you can maybe set up your thing and pull the shots. But it's just the way we have been, how do I orientated, how do I call it, like you.
I mean, until I've tried to beat that thought out of my system, and it's almost, like in the bee colony or the ant colony, there are workers. I feel like I've just been programmed to be a worker, and I'm trying to like fight it out of me and whatever. But
it's kind of bad, because the truth is, back home where we don't have that basic career orientation that kids would have in their school curriculum. If they made it should I say compulsory, it would then maybe have helped most people to know that you can actually grow up to be an entrepreneur. And guess what? You have all the tools to even build your consultancy yourself. You build your website, you write a marketing program, send it out there, and that's it. And you're gone.
Of course, I can understand that it's because of the jobs you apply to that has led you to it. But after the first experience, the second experience, you wouldn't even see that my services are needed. I don't even,
this is a calling.
Exactly.
I'm listening to Chi and I'm like, oh my God.
What are you still holding all these things? Why are you sitting on all these things?
I mean, if that still doesn't work, I can create a company and employ you. if all you want is a job.
And make you the CFO.
Yeah, I will even make you the CFO. Yeah.
It's so nice. I'm listening to him and I'm like, wow, this is someone who can just really go out there and pull the shots. The other day, I was talking to a colleague, the one I mentioned, that like he can reach out to the highest person at our company. He's really a junior. He came to my company like 2 years ago, but he has already moved great. Really. Within 2 years, he has moved great. When he's going to converse with somebody, he has a strategy. You are either going to solve my problem or answer my questions, or you lead me to somebody. The other day, he told me he's in a women's organization. I'm like, what are you doing in a women's organization? He said, hey, don't you, nowadays they are talking about diversity, they are talking about women, in positions. You see, I am where the conversation is hitting. That is how strategic he is. And I was looking at him like, okay, I've been in this company for 4 years.
At least they are also they go once a while, they go once or twice a week.
And guess what, Auntie Vero, when we're having classes, Chi's experience always comes in with the way he approaches things, the way he explains things. And Chi, that's a strength you can build on. That's a strength you can pull off from. I think Vera was saying we don't have, a way of selling ourselves and all that. You sell yourself indirectly, not knowing that you do. You just need to consciously know that these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. Build on your strengths, limit your weaknesses, and focus on the goal. And you're gone. Auntie Vero, you said something here about networking, not ignoring your network and all that. That was a very, very strong point you made about the network. I guess sometimes it's either we're just shy to do the things, or we don't trust ourselves enough to carry it forward.
Yeah.
But there's a lot we can do.
Yeah, and that my experience of taking that leap from the university to the industry, if I can call it like that. I mean, I was under fire. When you don't even have the stay.
Yeah.
You need to find something. Hey, I had to, even with my introvertness and everything, hey, I had to get out there. you needed to see the pile of books I had to read, transitioning to this, what you have to do. I had to take those baby steps. And one thing that came out was reach out to people within your network.
Yeah.
And that really helped. And as I was saying, someone really linked me up to somebody. I had never known this person, but it was because of the person within my network who happened to know this person, who happened to know this person. And that's how it happened. And so really, I value my network. And even I really don't want to call it in because sometimes not in a disrespectful way, but again, even your cleaner at the office.
And just to add on something there, even if you're going on an interview, the internet, as Ben said, LinkedIn and everything, it is a data pool that some of us who started our careers long ago did not even have. So it was crazy. If you're going for an interview, you know who you're going to meet. You know you have the names of the people you're going to talk to. Search the company. Once you get, people tend to have sympathy with people who have in line, who can align, who they can have common things together. Google the person's name. If you see that he likes golf, once you are inside that interview, talk about golf. I don't even know. That's the strategy I use to talk to some of these senior managers. You know, they like this. Yeah.
Just to confirm what you're saying and to give my experience in line with knowing your person. I had an interview and Mohammed was like, Google her, just find the things she does. I did, and I noticed that in her company, she had actually created a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And then she had some other things she had written with women in agile, women in technology, women in blah, blah, blah. So I just read it the day before the interview. I listened to her podcast.
Yeah.
And when we started talking, he actually proposed I use it as an icebreaker. An icebreaker is something you start a conversation with to, like, bring down the tensions, break down everything.
Yeah.
When we just did the introduction and I started talking, I let her know, oh, by the way, your podcast was very, very enriching and motivating to me. And she was like, what? You listen to my podcast?
Yeah.
So just those little things. And then instead of diving into the interview deep, we spoke for about what, 11 minutes?
Yeah.
In fact, she even had to say, I promise I will
get back to the interview part. We had a great conversation and we just kept going. At some point, she's like, no, I promise I'll get to the interview, but let me finish the points I wanted to make.
Yeah.
So we actually had a conversation for a very long time. And then later went to the interview. And even after the interview, we went back into the conversation again. Yes. And I told her, I used some of the things she spoke about in her podcast about people being in circles and not putting yourself in a box where it limits you, but being in a circle where you can, pull yourself in and out at any. And she was just stunned.
Yeah.
So it's some of those little things that we do, as you're saying, that make a whole difference when talking. And before even getting to it, I was so scared, so fragile. I was like, no, just use that as an icebreaker.
No. It connects. There are another thing is we are here as a community and we all have little responsibilities that sometimes we really do undermine. Whatever responsibility you have in your small jangi group or whatever, put it as a hobby in your CV. I put in my hobby that at that time I was the treasurer and the financial secretary of the Cameroonian Association here in Dublin. When I went to an interview, my interview was totally on that aspect of me being the financial secretary in the Cameroon for the Cameroonian community here. So and even when I put a job out there when I was in the company, the lady came and was like, oh, you have this Cameroonian community. Can you tell us about it? And already discussing something out of work creates that bond
Exactly.
Yes.
And
That
another one,
likable
sorry,
factor.
I might have too many illustrations. When I had just applied for the Fulbright scholarship as well, one of the things I wrote on my CV was that I was the coordinator for the children's program here in the United States, that we initiated it, and I'm one of the coordinators who helped run it. When I went to the interview, that was actually the even main focus of the interview. And that I believe so much that with my story and the fact that we had a conversation around the things I do, I believe that was what got me the scholarship. You see, it's not something very major. It's just with a little organization, BFU.
Yeah.
But
And then if you're already in the company, if they say that, you see, there are some things that they do in the company. There's a newsletter section. There might be something coming on board. Put yourself forth, even if you've never done it, you will learn. And by so doing, especially something that has to do with the global section of the company. If you are, no matter, even in the hospital or wherever, and there is some project going on that, because those, like Vero was saying, that this boy is in women's group, diversity group, and that is his network that he's building. You don't wake up in one day and build a network.
No.
All these little things that we sometimes overlook, it's what takes us where we want to be.
I tell you, I say, this guy is strategic. And talking about putting the little things you do, don't underestimate. And I know both of you have, given examples of how the what you do might become even the big topic at the interview, not necessarily what they were even the main thing. And it also happened to me. And of course, the job was about I was going to do some coordination and And I think I've mentioned here before how, because I was coordinating dances for Bonkesheri, that's what I put in. That was my experience as a coordinator. So that's what we had at the interview. That was the conversation was around that. I had to explain how people are flying from all over Europe it was an NFU thing, if I'm not mistaken, or Bonkesheri. And I think they were just starting NFU, something like that. So that's how, I got that my first job after the networking. And then and that was my first interview after leaving the university, and I got the job. Again, also really customizing your CV to what has been asked. Don't rattle everything you've done. If they say they want someone who is a communicator, give examples of where you've been a communicator and
where the heart of what they're asking for.
Yes, and there's something that people do which really kills. Like, you make a CV and you are using it to apply for all the jobs. No, you should never ever do that. Look at the qualification or whatever the skill set they need, and then customize your CV to reflect that. Because when they scan, am I seeing coordination? Am I seeing writing? Am I seeing that? That is what will filter your CV, and then you have that interview. And at that interview, you don't have to put your head down. You have to make eye contact. Don't become Moham.
Another.
Sorry, Pa, and if I need to, it was so funny. So those are some things that we have to really learn how to even customize your CV to fit what the job advert is all about. And for me, leaving the university where, it's very lax at the university. Yes, we used to write the application, It's completely for me, it was like, again, transitioning to something, writing. Okay, I've been doing articles and things like that, but I needed to customize my CV to fit what they were asking. So I needed to find areas where I could demonstrate what I've done based on the job advert. So please reach out to people. I'm available if you want to to work on your CV. I at least I did that for, and I've done that for colleagues also, or for PhD students also that were leaving. So you can reach out to me if you have your CV that you want to work on. It's very important. It's that CV that filters you for you to have that interview where you have to brag about yourself. Yeah, we are very modest, really. And sometimes we sell ourselves really short. Even when after the interview, of course, then they are asking about the salary that you are so like, I shouldn't ask too much. Please give a big price, and then you people will come
negotiate.
Negotiate, don't sell it.
There is one thing
sometimes, sometimes it's because you are so desperate to get the job. But again, know what you are coming to add to that company. And once they need you, they will come for you.
There is one thing that we always, that I had an experience with, that we as maybe not we, that I had when I used to write my applications and I got rejections. There at one time, it's always very important to ask a second person to look at your, or to see what you are doing. For my case, it was just a coincidence that when I applied for the job, I didn't get the job. So I decided, I searched on internet. I was looking at which company is the most paid company in Germany, and I saw SAP. I was like, what is this company? And I researched and I saw that anyway, I could get a job, but then I needed a training. I applied for the training. I went to the center and the woman told me that, no, this thing is special for people. I told her that I'm special. And she said, if I had to do it, I will write a mathematics test. And I just said she should bring the test. I'm writing now, or she should give me written that she rejected me from the test. And she said, okay, she will give me the test. I should sit down. I wrote the test and she said, oh, surprisingly, you passed. I said, it's not a surprise. So I left you.
Surprising.
That's so cheeky.
That's
already reading the book by the cover.
Yeah, but really, she was the person.
Where is the cover even?
I don't even know. I'm just saying, because maybe just looking at her, a black person, she would not even know anything, something like that.
Then there was one time I took my applications to her. I said, I've written these applications. I've not had a job before. And because we had some issues that she would say that we write exams here and everybody would just accept. And I would go to my contract and said, no, my contract showed that we are writing exams in Berlin. If we have to move, then you as a school, you have to provide us with transport. You have to provide us with a hotel. I have kids. You have to provide me with a babysitter. And she was like, everybody had accepted, and she would come and say, no, we can't do that again. We have to see, in the contract, it was different. So when I brought my application, she looked at me and she told me, you know what? If I see you on the street, or if you come to my interview, I will not accept you. But now, if I have a company, you'll be the first person I will employ. And what she explained to me was, like, reading my application, she sees that I'm desperate for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I need the job. No, you don't need a job. They need you. And put this in your mind when you're going. They need you. You are exceptional. They need you more than you need them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she told me to rephrase that. It's as if I'm begging for a job. I'm not begging. That I'm too qualified to beg for a job. I should stand with my shoulders up. So I went and changed my application. I wrote my application. When you are, I will tell them you need me, and if you are opportune to have me, I will do this for you. I will listen. So at times we are like, we want to be too polite and we turn up being beggars, forgetting what we have. They need us more than we need them. They were the first people who wrote that they needed somebody. And if you're going there, you tell them that you are very important. And if they are lucky to have you, they should be lucky and count themselves lucky if they come to a compromise with you.
Yeah.
That's always a strategy I take. And for my last job, when I went there, I was like, it was a water company. So I did a lot of research, not on the water company, but on the Kumbu water project. And when I went, I told them that I see they are a water company. I'm from Cameroon, I'm from Kumbu. We have the Kumbu water project. And I told them the history of the Kumbu and the problems. And what I'm hoping that I will learn from here and take to Kumbu. You know, and we ended up talking more about the Kumbu water project than